movie
Hey,
star.
I watched Howard the Duck.
Topical.
Retro.
No, well, the Blu-ray just came out.
Okay.
It's
So it's topical.
about $5.99. Really.
Figures.
Also, I wanted to say, add as a side note, Universal makes the worst Blu-rays.
Yeah.
When you get a Universal movie, it's going to be in some generic menu that takes 20 minutes to get to, that slides out of the side of the screen and whatever.
Yeah.
They just now changed it. They still have that menu and shit, but they, for the first time, they added a resume button. Like when you pop it back in, it goes, "Do you want to resume?" It's 2016. You just added a button that will resume a fucking
Finally got
Blu-ray.
it.
Thank you.
Oh my god, that took 10 years.
Is that the same?
One guy woke up from a fevered dream and came running into work one day, kicked the door open, a fucking resume button!
We need it.
Duh!
Is that the same one that you put in? It says, "We're right now loading fresh trailers from the
Yeah,
internet
yeah,
to
yeah.
your DVD."
Oh.
Skip all that.
I don't want
you.
any trailers, so no need. Please stop. Don't do
Yeah.
that. All right, well, good for them.
Anyway.
Is that the love interest is Caroline in the City?
Yeah.
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 Good sitcom. Eric.
That movie, it's funny. I was telling Kevin and Derek that I see why people say that's one of the worst movies ever, but it's not the worst movie in terms of what's like. It's not the worst executed movie, and like it tells a competent story. But why the fuck did you make this about some shit duck? Like, it's just like, what was the point of doing any of this? But it's not like it's not entertaining. So saying it's the worst, it's more that it was just a bad idea to do this in the first place.
Yeah.
But the execution is not that bad.
You think just the fact that it's Howard the Duck, why pick that Marvel property?
I don't care that it's a Marvel property. It's just, it has nothing to do with that. It's just...
What year?
1986.
Oh, wow.
What, did it come out for like the 30th anniversary or something?
No, it was George Lucas completely. It was completely... George Lucas went through a whole phase up until the prequels came out. Through most of the 80s, though, George Lucas went through this phase where he wasn't directing movies anymore, but he would fund them and get them going, but just be on set the whole time. And basically, he said in interviews, like, well, really a director's job is just to make sure they get the material they need to on the camera. That's it.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to put himself in the director's role. He would just be on set and be like, yeah, you should do this, 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 and this.
How annoying.
Kind of overseeing.
Okay,
That
and the
seems like a
director would
nightmare.
do all the work.
Executive producing.
Because that's basically, Ron Howard has talked about that with Willow. It's like, that's George Lucas's movie. They hired me as director, but when I got there, it's like, George Lucas had all the ideas.
Oh,
Let's do
yeah.
this and this and this. He just didn't want the job of director. But it's weird because George Lucas, in this phase of doing that, made all these movies about little creatures. Like, in the same year, he did Captain EO, which is all like little
Fuzzballs.
creatures around Michael Jackson.
Another
Willow
little creature.
came, and it was just kind of like, fantasy world of stuff.
I love Willow.
I don't dislike it, but it's, it's kind of an odd movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely odd.
It's funny how he was just into creatures and stuff, and it started, honestly, Return of the Jedi was the beginning of it. I mean, I love Return of the Jedi.
Okay, the fantasy stuff showing through.
But it's like Ewoks and this and the guy who looks like a fish, and it's like, that is a little, what is this? It's just kind of funny. Like, why did he go that route? And so, anyway, they talked about it. That when they were working on American Graffiti, George Lucas went to another person who's working on the movie and was like, I found this comic about this duck. It's noir. It's great noir.
Yeah.
Just happens to have a duck in it.
Happens to have that duck.
Like, he liked that it was just
Bizarre.
something odd in a serious thing. Yeah. So
he seemed to have, maybe
funded
he had
it.
a otherkin fetish.
Maybe, I don't know. But the producer of the movie, who I think worked at Universal or whoever put it out, I guess it was Universal, said they didn't even look at it. They signed off because it was George Lucas. Oh, it's George Lucas? Yeah.
Oh,
And he's
shit.
really back. He's really into this? Yeah? Oh,
yeah.
Then let's do it. And
it's probably
and
cheap
it
as fuck to
came
buy
out-
the property.
Yeah, maybe. It was the first Marvel movie
Really?
ever.
Wow.
And they
Damn.
they spent $2 million on the suit. And the producer of that
Damn.
movie was just like, "Oh man, what is this movie? What is this?" They signed off on it before ever seeing anything.
It's all animatronic eyes and beak and shit, though.
Yeah.
Or no, does the beak actually move like on the actor's face?
It's
It's pretty impressive.
It is for the 86.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's weird because the movie is PG. There are duck tits in the first 5 minutes.
Duck tits.
Well, that's why you need a parental to
Duck
guide
tits.
you.
Yeah.
It shows a female duck in the bathroom with human-like breasts.
Isn't he reading?
Nipples, everything, and he bursts through the bathroom. Yeah,
All right.
that happens.
Yeah. Again, George Lucas just insisted. Duck tits. Had to have it.
Yep,
Whoa.
right there. Bam.
Wow.
We're looking at it on the
They've
monitor.
got feathers. The nipples don't have feathers.
Can I show that
Google
on the
search duck
podcast?
tits.
Am I allowed to
It'll be
show
the
that?
first thing that comes up. I promise.
That's down. I bet that's
Anyway, yeah.
soft.